All right, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. This is Dr. Joy Caduceus, and that is drjoycaduceus at gmail.com. So, today we are going to be discussing what I do to help you get your money right, to secure the bag. Now, Beyonce is, the token of this because I love her. I respect her. When I had my daughter, and I don't know if I've said it before, but if it's your first time hearing it, then you'll hear it now. When I had my daughter, I was looking for music that I felt was okay to go into her subconscious. You know what I mean? Music that develops her. And it was really the first time that I really listened to Beyonce music. Not that I didn't dance, because Beyonce when I was in college or whatever, she had, some dance songs out, and I'll get it in, and she'll have a few different things. I'm really a Jay-Z fan. I grew up on Hove. So just by association, I don't, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna just start listening to the music. And so that's the case, that's the situation. So when my daughter was born, I listened to all of the people that I normally listen to, and I noticed that the content of the music was a bit more aggressive than I wanted my daughter to be exposed to at this age, at that age. And so Beyonce just popped up in my playlist, and she came on there. And I was like, yeah, that's right. Because now I'm a mother, and I love a man stronger than I've ever loved a man before. And so even if I wasn't emotionally ready to open myself, I was wide open. And so to hear what Beyonce went through as a mom, or not so much as a mom, but as a wife, and as someone wanting to become a wife, because her old music is just as it's quality. It's all quality content for a woman to listen to. So she listened to it, and then a new album dropped. And, she's talking about being pissed off in a relationship with a man who's human, and not liking it, and the process that life takes us through as women who want to stick by our man, because you can make a decision not to stick by him, okay? And that's not what this video is about. But that's how I got to listening to Beyonce. And then when she dropped this album and was like, the best revenge is your paper, I was like, you are damn right. Yes, it is. But B, I'm not running around the park in heels trying to get up on the stage and do your job, because I'm not B, I'm me. And so I'm like, all right, so then what, where's my focus lie? And God led me to my purpose. And I'm an encourager. What I do is I encourage people to follow their purpose. And that was hard for me to accept at first, but it is what it is. I'm really good at it. I'm a cheerleader. I cheer myself on. I wouldn't be sitting in front of you if I wasn't able to encourage myself, but by the grace of God. And so we go back to the revenge is your paper, and I can't be Beyonce, and neither can you. But we can get money. And so how do you get money? Well, that's where I come in at. I am an image consultant, and the image that I help you build is built on financial security. You develop that through real estate. Now, real estate, I'm not getting in real estate. I heard so many of my friends, I've been in this business for over 14 years. It's coming up on 15 years. And I'm not bragging about that. It is more of I've earned my stripes. And through the process, I fell tons of times. I've jacked it up all sorts of ways, but I fall forward. And I'm so happy about that. But I chose real estate because, as an attractive urban female, as a young girl growing up in the hood, having, big legs and a curvy figure. I'm thick. Country, cornbread, I'm thick. And I love it. I love my shape. one of the things that were sold to me when I was younger was stripping. And I had nothing against stripping, nothing at all. I actually tried to strip. And when I went to the club, I realized that this is another job and I have to learn how to work the pole, because anything I do, I want to be the best at it. So if I'm going in the strip club, I'm not going to just be walking around giving out lap dances. I'm going in the strip club and I'm going to get up on the pole. I'm going to reach up on the wall. This one girl, she's from Philadelphia. I call her Spider. She did this crazy routine to Dirty Diana. And I was like, she got my respect for the rest of her life. I don't care what type of mistake she makes in her life, but she has my respect for the rest of her life. So anyway, dealing with stripping and prostitution as well, all of them are jobs. All of them are something that it's a craft that you have to learn. In prostitution, whether you're a sugar baby or, you're dating older men or whatever your case is, it's still a craft in order to get top dollar for your product. And so, my product was something that I felt was I didn't want to make it readily available to the public. So being that it wasn't like, I knew that I would get married eventually. And honestly, this is how I decided not to be a sugar baby. I knew that I would get married eventually and that my past would be something that comes up with my husband. And so I'm like, so that was part of it. But more so, when my daughter talks to me, and my family, we are very upfront, we're very straight. When my daughter talks to me and she asks me, I'm going to tell her the exact nature of her mother so that she can learn from my mistakes. And I didn't want that to be a part of it, because when she comes to me and says, well, mommy, I'm going to be a stripper because, that's how you got your money, because she's going to want her independence. She's already independent. We call her Sheba, the Queen of Sheba, walks around, a whole bunch of houses because she has a lot of property. And so I'm like, all right, so real estate and prostitution. Prostitution is one of the oldest professions in America, as is real estate. I remember one of my friends, unfortunately, her brother had passed away, but he owned some property. So he was the breadwinner for the family, because when there's not a father present, most times, in the hood, when it's, you got a mom that's strong and she brings you to be strong, and, whatever, you end up in the streets and you're the man of the house, you're the man of the family. So he owns some property. And she called me and she was like, well, he got this house. And I was like, girl, the real estate like pussy is always selling, I want you to call X, Y, and Z and tell them that you have a property that you want to get to them. And that allowed them to get cash that they needed so that they could, gain their bearings. Because when you lose someone, whatever. But the point of the matter is, the same way women, our femininity, our beauty is marketable, is something that you can most times always survive on. And when I say that, if you read up on Maya Angelou, for a time in her life, she went through a prostitution phase, not to disrespect her at all, but in order to take care of our children, there are things that we would do, to make sure that it gets done if it can't get done. This is a jungle, survival of the fittest. That is, we are a part of that chain. And so, real estate. So, that's what I do. Sorry, my daughter stuff popped up. So, that's what I do. And I had to figure out how, I got my real estate license, and that wasn't the kicker. Whatever. So, here we go. Coming on as a client with me, the first thing we're going to do is get you educated, because you need to know about your product, okay? And that's the bottom line. It's the same as when you go through job orientation, or you get in a new job, and that's it. You get in a new job and you are learning the ropes, and it can be difficult to grasp, but I'm here to walk you through it. And what I do is I show you how to analyze how the product is moving in different areas, and specifically in your area. So that means no matter where you are, you'll know how and why things, what the market is doing. So, you know, if you've ever talked to someone about real estate, then a lot of times they'll say, you know, well, it's a buyer's market, it's a seller's market, and all of those different things. And men lie, women lie, numbers don't. It's always a buyer's market, and it's always a seller's market, and that's just pretty much it. But you just got to know where that market is, what's in demand, and that's what I help you to do. So right off the bat, you're getting access to information that's not readily available to everyone else. And when I say that, the only person that I ever sat down with once I obtained the ability was my broker, and that's why he's my broker, because he's the man. He said, all right, now he did it in 3 minutes, and the way he did it, you know, it would leave, you know, just a little, he's the man, like he's been doing this for years. So anyway, you know, I'm like, all right, but I already know this. And I didn't say that to him because he's my broker. He's been aggressively in this business in sorts of different ways that I haven't. I'm always open to learn from someone who has more than me, and I'm trying to get where they are. So, you know, that's that. So that's what I teach you. I teach you how to analyze a market, and you'll learn it. Once you learn it, it's like riding a bike. You can do it anywhere you go, okay? And so once you learn how to analyze the market, the next thing we do is start to build your team. We're not starting, you know, to build your team. We're going to build your team. And your team is going to consist of, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 key players. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Your real estate agent. You're going to need a real estate agent. Now, I am a licensed real estate agent in the state of New Jersey, but I never got my real estate license to sell real estate. Initially, when I got my real estate license, I wanted to know how the contracts, you know, when contracts come across the table, I want to know exactly what's going on, and, you know, make sure, you know, I'm not getting robbed, I'm not getting like I'm not a pushover and you just doing whatever you want to do to me. And so you'll understand that fully. So if you would like to take a real estate course, I do recommend that, because that's going to give you, you know, what you need to know the contracts. But knowing what I know today, I wouldn't have did that. I needed the knowledge that I have now, which is how to analyze a market and who to deal with. So what your real estate agent is going to do is they're going to handle your paperwork. They're going to go and find the properties that you want. They are going to handle the contracts, and any questions that you have, your real estate agent should be able to answer them and should be happy to answer them. My other videos discuss, you know, how to cast your care on God, and, you know, dealing with different events that come up, and all things working together for good, because it's important that you know that, because when you are working with your real estate agent is not your employee. So, you know, whenever you're dealing with somebody, you want to deal with somebody that you can build rapport with, you know, and a long-term relationship. And if you can't do that, then you need to know it's time to fire them. You know, not fire them, but, you know, next them and get somebody else, because you want somebody that you can relate to. And it doesn't matter where you come from. If you find the right agent, you found the right agent, and they're going to do what you need them to do, especially because you're going to be educated on the decisions you'll be making. All right. And if you can get a broker on your team, that's even better. And believe, brokers are regular human beings. They just specialize in their craft. And so that's that. The next person is your contractor. Okay. Uncle Bobo cannot handle certain real estate deals that you do. And Uncle Willie, that's what Uncle Willie, he been fixing up everybody's house. You know, if something go wrong, he come, you know, he fix the leak. He might fix up, you know, a plumber pipe or something like that. Cool. when you get ready to start purchasing your properties and just building a portfolio, you need to know the type of contractor you need on your team for the specific thing you're going to do. So you can either buy properties and hold them, and rent them out. Everybody initially, when they get into real estate, they want a Section 8 tenant because the money comes in consistently. But as you have to do repairs on your property and evict and bring them back, get new tenants, then you develop different tastes. So that's that, buying and holding properties and understanding what type of taxes and things are going to be required is what your real estate agent is going to break down for you in your paperwork. But when you're dealing with a contractor, you want somebody who is going to be able to maintenance your properties, who is going to, be available for you when you need them. So this is somebody that you need to have on your team and build a relationship with. Now, if you're getting into real estate and you want to flip properties, and you may have read the books, the wholesaling books on when you buy a property and fixing them up and different things of that nature. I actually watched a mortgage broker. He went into business, and not into business. He was already in business. He's good at at the mortgage brokerage. That's his specialty. That's his area of specialty. He bought 2 properties at one time and bit off more than he could chew, because it's a time span that your properties will sit on the market depending on the area that they're in. And he was doing flips. He's the mortgage broker is the money man. So anyway, and so that was something that I found to be scary in dealing with real estate, because if I buy a property, then how do I know if it's going to sell? And that scared me, because now I have these people on my team. I have people who respect my word and respect me as a hustler, a grinder, somebody who works around the clock, and I'm gonna work until it gets done. And I don't care how it gets done. I can get it done in a shopping cart or on a bike. That's the type of reputation I have amongst my peers. So when I get ready to take them into a business deal, then my word is my bond. I want to make sure that things are going to move in accordance to what they're moving like. So coming back around to the 2 properties he bought, he flopped on a deal because they didn't sell and his contractor wasn't on point with getting the work done. So when you get into a situation such as flipping a property, you want to have a contractor that you have verified, and you see that they get the job done and it looks good. It passes inspection. And these are the different types of terms and people you'll get accustomed to. And I was doing this at 22. So it doesn't matter how old you are. It's just whether or not you're able to learn the information, and then can you manage the responsibility? Because in order to whom much is given, much is required. And when you can drive around in a Bentley, even the drug dealers, if you're driving around in a Bentley, you better have the money on the books to verify that you can afford that Bentley, or the government is coming for you. Flip side of the story, if you're a regular Joe Schmo and you want to drive the Bentley, then you have to manage the responsibility of having the money come in on a residual basis. Residual money that comes in when you're asleep, money that comes in if you're sick, if you're out of the country, if you're out of the state, is still coming in. And that's what real estate gives you, so you can maintain your job and this income. So anyway, a contractor, that's what we were talking about. A contractor can really mess up your deal, and you don't want that. So when you deal with a contractor, you need a contractor, and nobody works for you. You know, so if you're gonna work with me, keywords, work with me, then that means you have to respect my requests, and you also have to be able to communicate to me whether or not you can get this done or how you can get this done. You know, so that's the next person I help you get on your team. Your contractor, the person that you go to, and when you ring their phone, because you are about your business, they pick it up. Because let me tell you, if you short your contractor, if you do not pay him, I'm telling you, if you do not pay him, or you call the wrong contractor for the wrong job, Uncle Willie is useful, and Uncle Willie need money too. Okay, Uncle Willie will come and he will get this thing fixed. But Bob the Builder, okay, when you call Bob the Builder and you ask him to come and fix the drain in the kitchen on a property that your Section 8 tenant has stuffed, the kids have stuffed some stuff down the drain, Bob the Builder is going to stop taking your calls, okay? He's not going to pick the phone up because you have called Bob the Builder with the bullshit, okay? And there's no other way to say it. So, you know, just learning the ropes. And I'm telling you, these are all things that I have learned throughout these 14 years. So the next person you want on your team is a money man. And if you don't have money, if you haven't had access to large sums of money, then the money man can be very hard to find. And so because of that, you definitely want to have people with large sums of money who have access to people with large sums of money, so that they can help you get large sums of money, to make large sums of money, to flip money legally. And this is America. This is why everyone wants to be here. So anyway, a mortgage broker. When you walk into the banks and you go and deal with the banks, they have a really strict criteria. And that's what Trump is working on right now. Now, he's working on it with the banks. He's working on it with institutions that operate like banks and insurance companies. And he's rearranging the Dodd-Frank Act. And that's why it was definitely important for me to make sure that you got this information. So, in him rearranging, and the security, let me see. I'm not gonna get it, but he's rearranging some systems that will allow the banks to be able to lend the way they have been in the past. I don't want to say in the past, because he has a team of veterans that are going to be regulating the lending. And I think that is like that's like the best decision, because in order for you to really, judge whether or not something is a high risk or not, you need to have had experience in transactions that fall through, so forth and such and such. So Dodd-Frank was one of President Obama's landmark things that he issued, and it was good because he stopped fraudulent lending practices, and he started to prosecute. He developed this team of people to prosecute people who had been lending fraudulently, who weren't, running by the book. It's America, and what Mitt Romney brought up in his debate between him and President Obama was that the money wasn't circulating. Even though, we stopped everything, we regrouped from the bubble, the money wasn't circulating. And so now with Trump in office, Trump has rung the bell. Has rung the bell. The money is circulating again. And a lot of times our community lower class community, middle class, we're like the last people to know because, you know, we still trying to make sure we get the car paid off and get the mortgage paid off. And to aggressively build, you have to take some risks. You have to take risks. And what I do is help you take educated risks with dealing in real estate. So that's with the banks. A mortgage broker, he goes and shops for money, specifically for you. Again, he does not work for you, you work with him. I had a meeting with a broker, and when I say, you know, like, he just blew me away because he's so aggressive. You know, you can get a loan closed in, you know, 30 days. He, you know, and I know that when he says that, he can do that. He, you know, he can get the money to you ASAP to get a deal up and running and moving. But when I talk to him about my clients and the numbers that they may be interested in, and I know it because one of my practice clients, even though, you know, he's in a six-figure club, when he deals with real estate, he still operates with smaller numbers. And mortgage brokers, how they were affected by all of the regulations that came down is they're not allowed to charge points. None of us who are and were trying to get a property, get real estate, were concerned about points. But in America, they were concerned about points. And so now mortgage brokers don't have access to the type of money that they had before. So when they do a deal, it needs to be worth something. So when you have a loan that's under $100,000, then they're kind of like, I'm not saying it's charity work, I'm not. But if you don't have $100,000 and you get a loan for that, you know, and you feel like, you know, you big willie on campus, and it does feel good to get approved for money that's not yours to use at your will to purchase a property and hopefully turn that into $250,000, $300,000. Okay, but he was concerned with the attitude of the people who get the money under $100,000, because now, you know, I got this money and I said this and I need this paperwork to go like this and he'll stop picking up the phone and then you don't get money. So anytime we work with people, anytime you working with someone who specializes in an area, it's important that you know that you are working with them. They have feelings and a family just like you. They want to eat, they have concerns, whatever. So the money man goes, long story short, the money man goes and finds a bank, big or small, that wants to lend and can lend to you. So it does matter what your credit looks like, and it does matter, you know, your ability to pay it back. But the type of, when you borrow and you're using property to borrow money, the property itself takes the place of your ability to pay it back if it's worth it. And so with the knowledge that I give you, you get to understand what a property is worth and how you can get money. And having a money man on your team whom you build a rapport with, yes, they get a Christmas card, they get, you know, a birthday gift, or they get a birthday card, or their children get a birthday gift. You build a rapport with them because when you call, you want them to know that, oh, she's ready. Oh, she put the check. She's ready to get this money. And that is what it is. When I started the video, I did mention that, you know, real estate versus prostitution. Okay. No sleeping with the teammates, you know, because you'll mess your team up. And these are the rules: respect, focus, managing your responsibilities, and discipline. You're gonna need discipline. And so that brings me to the last person on the team, an accountant. All right, so My dad says, how do you know if it's a good accountant? And I'm not going to say that joke because I definitely don't want to get in trouble. And it's not going to be funny. I'm not like that. I'm not funny like that. Like, I don't have I tell a joke and it's funny. That's not my style. But, you need an accountant that has been doing what they do for a long time, and you have to build a rapport with them. Why do you need an accountant? Because when a bank cut the check, all types of emotions that you have never experienced cut loose in you. I'm serious. When the bank cuts the check, you get the impression that you now have access to, this money. And a lot of times what the bank does is, they distribute the money in portions as you need it, as you complete each section of a project, depending on the size of the project. You might not even need a bank loan to purchase property, but this is how it goes. So, you have the money being distributed and you go and you start to buy things. What your accountant is going to help you do, whether you're flipping a property or you're building a portfolio, they're going to help you to design a budget to live your everyday life. Because real estate, once it is introduced into your life, it becomes a part of your life. That means that something's going to break in the property, all of those different things. Your real estate agent can be the person who manages your property, which I always recommend that you have a real estate agent managing the property. But they'll still have to converse with you about what is going on, if something happens. And what your accountant does is help you balance this baby. And why you need balance is because, let's say you have 8 properties, let's say you have 8 properties. 2 of the properties have a mortgage on it because those were the 2 properties that you wanted and you didn't have the cash to purchase them, but they were worth getting a mortgage on a property to get the property. You have those 8 properties. So there we go. We got 6 of them that don't have a mortgage. The benefit of having a mortgage on your property is that the mortgage company takes care of your taxes and all of those different things. But on the other 6 properties, you got taxes that come up every 4 quarters. You got a water and sewer. Depending on your state, it's different obligations that come up. And it can be much. If you mismanage that money, okay, because you have 8 properties coming in. Let's say you got 8 properties coming in and they're paying, it's $900 each property. So you got a nice amount of money coming in. I don't have the calculator. 9 times 8 is something. But, you have this money coming in. And so then you get to spending. You Big Willie. You out, you got 3 cars, 3 car payments. You got the house that you always wanted, in the suburbs, a $300,000, $800,000 house that you wanted. You got a beach house in Florida because you got these 8 properties. Plus you got your job that your regular job that you're working. And you could be 23 with a regular job and 8 properties. It has been done. It is being done as we speak. But all of a sudden you get sick, you fall ill, and so now you're disabled, and the only income that you can depend on is the income from the 8 properties. Well, that income alone cannot cover 3 vehicles, a mortgage payment, a beach house, and the taxes on the properties. So now as you're trying to recuperate your health, you have the pressure of all of your responsibilities on you at a time that you really need to heal. And so what an accountant does is set you up to win financially. They're going to show you the type of money that's available to you to play with. They're going to show you, and this is something that I build with them. So, not every accountant, and I had to learn that too. When I go to deal with an accountant, I'm like, help me set up a budget. And it was like, nah, I didn't feel like it was something that was aggressively handled in a manner that I needed it handled. So this is something that I'll aggressively address with you and your accountant, and that's who you'll deal with. You don't have to talk to your accountant every day as much as you would with your, agent, your broker, your contractor when you're dealing in real estate. But you definitely want to touch bases with them because it's going to help you forecast, it's going to help you with your financial forecast, and I won't leave home without it. I wouldn't leave home without it, especially shopping, especially gifts, because a lot of times, when you get money so that you can take care of the people that you love, so that you can enjoy them and enjoy your life. But everything has its measure. Everything has limits and boundaries to it. It's responsibility. Okay, so to wrap this up, you need a team and help you build the team after I educate you on how to deal with how to analyze a market. And that's what I do. That's what I do, and I do it well. I'm really, really proud of it. It took a long time to get to this place, but it's a 6-week process to go through the learning, to learn, and for me to go through your first project with you in 6 weeks. Just to learn how to analyze a market is a week. So, those are 2 different services that I offer, and two different financial expectations. But if you already have the confidence to jump into real estate, then the only thing that you would need is the ability to analyze a market. Who needs to know how to analyze a market? Most real estate agents do not know how to analyze a market. So I would think, they would, but anyone who's looking to build an empire, something to pass on to your children, you need to learn how to analyze a market, and you also need to get into the game. Kennedy said, ask not what my country can do for me, but what I can do for my country. And what we can do in this country right now is get in the game and get some money generating. And so there's 5 different people that are affected, that have money flowing. Now you have money generating. What Jesus say? Let it circulate, right? Now you have the money circulating, and that's what we need to strengthen our economy, along with education and all of those other things. But real estate has been a firm foundation for many a billionaires, and it's no reason it shouldn't be a foundation for you. So I love you. God bless. You can reach me at drjoycaduceus@gmail.com. The first consultation that we have is free. So we can get a feel for what it is you're looking for, and you and I can speak and develop our next steps. I love you. Good luck.